Alright, so I am here with the top 8 competitor, Fraser, with his green-blue Imperialdramon, and he's going to be talking about the deck. Just before we get into it, is there anything you'd like to say about the deck or anything in general?
I mean, I think I found the deck a lot of fun. I hadn't played it a lot before I took it to the event. You know, I knew what it did and stuff, so I built the deck with a rough idea in mind, and I don't know, it works really well, and I can see why they hit it in the ban list. I think there were better hits, but we'll kind of get into that.
Yeah, of course. So we're just going to go straight to the deck profile now.
So eggs, 4, Digimon BT12. It's just a draw egg, right?
Draw one.
Yeah, draw one. Pretty much all it needs to do. Nice that you can DNA and then do it again.
Yeah, pretty broken.
And then for rookies, 4 of the promo Vmon. I mean, to be honest, the really good rookies are the 2 BT12 searchers. After that, it's just what helps you get into your DNA quicker, which this does the best. And then not once per turn, draw 1 is kind of nice. I mean, you should always be 2 or more colours once you've started the combo as well. This plus the Stingmon, there were games where I'd draw 5 a turn. There was one game where I think I drew 9 in a turn, so I got Digivolved the turn before. So I had 2 of this and a Sting and some other combinations.
And then also you're playing the Lydramon as well, so you can guarantee a draw at least on level 4.
Which did come up. I went into Lydra, suspended my opponent's Gilmon X, and then swung into that to draw 2, which drew me into the Imperialdramon to get the DNA off. Next rookie was 2 of the promo Wormmon. This was probably the worst rookie of the lineup. I'd swap it if I could, but I mean, you can only run 4 of a card, and you know, I already ran 4 of each of the BT12 searchers, which we'll get to. This is definitely the worst rookie. It misses a lot more of the deck, being 2 colors only. I mean, it's kind of funny that it can search medieval, but and it did come up.
Medieval searches.
But, you know, I would much rather have the other ones. End of turn DNA is also nice, because there were definitely games where the promo Vmon not having end of turn DNA did come up. But yeah, if the deck gets another searcher, this is definitely the first thing to go. And then, like I said, 4 of the BT12 searcher Vmon. I mean, it searches basically everything in the deck.
Best searcher in the deck,
essentially. Because it hits the Davis and Davis and Ken. And then you got 4 Worm, which is literally the same thing, just the tiniest bit worse because it doesn't hit Davis.
It just says Ken.
But that doesn't really come up. Like, there are games where I'd miss it, but you don't really mind because, like, Davis is nice to have, but if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world, I found. 4 starter deck Stingmon, which obviously has now been limited. To be honest, when I first saw the list, before I'd played the deck, I thought it was a nothing hit. I was like, that's not going to matter at all in the slightest. Playing it in the deck, I was wrong. It made a very big difference. I still think there were better hits, but I'll go over that after.
I think overall, like, people... I mean, even we agreed, like, maybe the Tamer was the hit, but it turns out if you're just able to find the combo and you're able to draw, like, another 5 cards on top of a given turn, it just closes out the game pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, pretty much what happened every time was I'd draw into this, I'd DNA, and then I'd just draw, let's say, 5 cards in the turn, which usually was enough to guarantee me the DNA the next turn, unless my opponent had, like, the perfect out, which was possible, but, you know, not always going to happen. 3 Lydramon. I think playing with 3 was too many. I'd probably play 2 instead if I was to do it again, because, I mean, it being blue and green is really nice, but Evo for 3 on top of Worm, I mean, I only roam 6 Worms, but it did come up. I don't know, it was nice, and it's nice to be able to get promo V, the draw, but I think I'd have just preferred another Stingmon, to be honest. 4 BT12 XV. Yeah, I mean, gaining a memory for DNA is broken, yeah.
Yeah, just the broken one.
Being able that plus Davis and Ken passing your opponent to 2 and then just going, I'm now actually on 0 because I gained a memory from this and from Tamer is really good. Jamming kind of sets the whole thing up, being able to swing Imperialdramon twice. It just makes you're just so much faster than anything else at the moment. Very little risk because there aren't that many security bombs going around in this format, I found.
Essentially none. Like, not many decks are playing it at all, really. Kind of like back in like BT6, you'd see like security bombs, but nowadays it's kind of just like an archetype card that just so happens to have a deletion type effect.
Yeah, and even like most of the bombs that people can run, it will just be delete a guy and then your partition just goes, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I get to play my guys out.
It's not, if you don't have the other one, oh man, it sucks, but you've probably drawn 5 cards before they've deleted it, so you've just gone, cool, I'll just use the other Imperialdramon that I have in my hand. Then for the last level 4, which I really did not like, was the BT16 XV. To be honest with you, I really didn't know what to do for the last one, so I kind of just went with the first one I found in my collection. That was an XV. I was like, that'll work, and it didn't come up once, so I really didn't like it. Like, the can't be deleted in battle thing sounds nice, and raid sounds cute, I guess, but it just never came up for me. I think looking back, I'd probably run the EX1 VMon. XV, sorry, because I mean, yeah, if I remember, it has jamming itself and gives jamming as an inherit, and I just think an extra jamming inherit would be nice. And then for the 5s, I ran 2 of the starter deck 9 Imperialdramon, because I mean, you can't run 6 BT16 Imperialdramon.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I mean, the when attacking is worse, but you know, basically, well, not even worse, it's arguably better because it's always unsuspend.
Yeah,
but in every other way, it's just worse.
There's like certain scenarios where it's actually better, but the lack of partition on this card is kind of what kills it, which is the reason why you only play 2 of it, essentially. Yeah,
it's just for because you can't rely on just 4 level 5s.
Speaking of level 5s, the main one.
The good one, yeah. The BC16 Imperialdramon.
What can you say about this card?
It does. I don't really know. Yeah, there's not much you can say when it kind of does.
Everything?
Yeah.
Pretty much everything.
This plus Davis and Ken, I mean, there's very little in the meta that kind of doesn't get suspended and stun locked by it.
Yeah,
I can sum up 90% of my games as, did I get into Imperialdramon? I had a good chance of winning. I didn't. I definitely lost, which I mean sounds obvious when that's all the deck's meant to do, but the amount even when I was massively behind, one Imperialdramon just completely froze the game around. And I ran 1 Psyduck 9 Dragon Mode. I don't know, I think I might have liked to have run more. I only own 1, so I went with 1. I don't know if I'd have gone more though. I did originally think I was undecided anyway, but I decided because I only owned the 1. I mean, it did come up in a lot of games. I mean, it's nice to be able to, you know, combo out. A lot of times I'd swing with Pale, hidden, and then use hidden potential on something else. Evo Pale into Dragon Mode, pop out the 2 4s, you know, go into another Pale. Pretty standard Imperial stuff that lets you, I think, you know, quite regularly taking 5 security.
Good extender for the deck, essentially.
Yeah. And I ran 1 Hexablown. I was originally going to run 2, but I just didn't really have the space. I had to decide between this and some other stuff, so I just went with the 1. And I mean, I think the second would have been good. But I mean, even the 1 did come up a lot. I mean, there was actually, I can't remember what round it was. I think it was round 6. I played against another blue-green Imperial, and we both actually just sat there staring at each other with Hexablown out.
I remember you telling me, yeah.
And we just kind of sat there like, oh, I actually don't know what to do against you, because we're both kind of locked.
We're both just like, what am I going to do?
But yeah, I mean, Hexablown's good. I mean, I didn't play against Purple Hybrid, to be honest, so, you know, I know that's what, I know this is what it's mainly good for, but it let me bottom deck some cool boys, bottom deck Davis and Kens. I don't know, it just, you know, Hexablown's a good card. I can see why it's used in every blue deck.
Good enough, essentially.
Yeah, I ran 1 Medieval Gallant. I put 1 in because I feel like every deck, except with very few exceptions at the moment, have to run Medieval.
My one.
It didn't really come up. Like, I think I only played it out like once, and I think it was actually against the Imperial mirror that I had, if I remember right, and that was just where they hadn't gone into the Pale. I think they hadn't gone into the Pale. They had like a Hexablown one out, but I'd stripped the sources, and it was that and just a rookie or something. So just slapping that down really let me recover the game. But other than that, to be honest, even though it was searchable with the promo worm, I tried not to use that promo worm ever on play because it's just the worst.
The worst, yeah.
So, to be honest, I just never really drew it. Like, I don't know if I'd even run it again because of how little it came up. But I mean, there are probably matchups where I really need to see it. Not that I'm particularly worried about it, but it wins the blue flare matchup. And
not this again.
And as VortexTCG is a esteemed blue flare player, I do have to worry about it. And then 1 Fighter Mode Ace. I mean, Fighter Mode Ace is just quite nice. You know, combos very well with Davis and Ken. You know, you strip some sources, go into Pale, swing a couple times. Even if you don't have Dragon Mode, it's nice to go into this because, I mean, you strip 3 sources, you're bottom decking probably anything when they swing. And even its end of attack to bottom deck stuff's actually quite nice. Obviously, you do need Dragon Mode for that, but there are enough Dragon Modes, even with the, I think it's 3 I ran total, were more than enough that when I needed to see them, I saw it. And it's just nice to have Ace because I don't know why, but people still forget that Aces exist.
Yeah.
In BT20, you know, they've been around for, what, a year, if not more?
7 sets now, I think.
And people still forget they exist, or once they see it once, it's like they assume you're running 9. Because they'll see your 1 ace and they're like, oh my god, but you're going to have the ace in your hand. And it just, the amount of games where my opponent would literally say to me, I want to swing, but I know you're going to ace me. And all I can think is, I'm definitely not holding that ace in my hand right now.
But please don't swing.
Yeah, literally. There were a couple games where I think if they had been a bit more aggressive, it probably would have gone in their favour, but they were just so afraid of ace that they didn't. And then you've got 2 BT16 dragon modes. I actually really like the dragon mode. When you have enough memory, it kind of just gives you another swing, which, I mean, there were games where I'd get like a chip damage or a rookie because I just had a bad start, and then you'd go into pale, swing twice, follow into, go into this, get another swing. Even that's just enough. Like, you don't need to, like, I know this deck used to do a lot more OTKs, but I find you just don't need to. You just put them low enough that once they partition you, sometimes, even if you didn't have the extra pale, just the level 4 swing is enough. But I just found the stun on this as well really nice, being able to make it so they can't unsuspend. Round 2, I played against a cross-heart player. In game 2, they only had 1 tamer out, but they had like 3 things under it. So I just went into this, stunned their tamer, and just said, you can't play the game, basically, because all of their resources are under this 1 tamer.
I know that feeling.
And even the all turns effect seems to like really scare people. Being able to go into a fighter mode, like, again, I think it's just a thing of, oh my god, this card says you can digivolve into fighter mode, that means you must have it. And like, people just overfear things, whereas sometimes you just have to commit, and if they've got it, they've got it.
The funny thing is that just like, as you are essentially just playing such a small amount of level 6s for a deck that draws like 6 to 7 cards, like, they just fear the absolute worst in the hand.
Well, that's the thing, I mean, in regards to fighter modes, you've got the ace that I've got here, and then you've got BT20 fighter mode as well, so I literally only run 2.
Yeah.
And they were still like, and everyone was so afraid of it. To be honest, this fighter mode actually like probably didn't come up as much as it could have because of the matchups I played. But the top 8 game I lost to was actually against Red Purple Imperial, which, to be honest, our games went about as I expected. I lost the dice roll, and then he got into this fighter mode before me game 1 and won. And then game 2, I went into this fighter mode first and won. And then game 3, he went into this fighter mode and won.
Yeah.
I think there were more things to it, like game 3, I just really couldn't draw into a green 4, but I don't think it matters. This fighter mode like kind of turns off decks. I don't, to be honest, the games that I went into it, like it felt like it did everything, but other games I'd draw it and just think, you don't need it, so I can't see it as more than a one-of, but it's a really nice one to have.
Kind of like a bit like win more, but the winning part essentially closes the game out.
Yeah, 100%. Like some games, you look at it, but even the decks where, even the ones where it's not the most important, the trash and the security thing's not the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically 2 memory, trash a security, give them a lock that you don't really, that some decks don't care about, but it's still nicer to have. But also deletes a Digimon and has raids. Like, there are definitely games where it could come up. It probably just didn't in the ones I was playing. But I think that's more because, a lot of my games were against like very high DP decks. So like raid isn't going to do me a lot when I'm only swinging for 13k and I'm sitting across Omnimon X.
Yeah.
Which I've now, suspended and stunned, so it doesn't matter, but I'm not wanting to swing into that, so my piercing is not doing me much good. This blank card sleeve is my Paladin mode ace that I borrowed off my buddy Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Shout out, Dan.
To be honest, Paladin mode didn't come up at all, like, not even once. I think the only time it almost was relevant was when my opponent forgot they had jamming, saw Paladin mode in my security and went, oh damn, my thing died, until I reminded them they had jamming.
Average regional experience.
Yeah, I can see why people play it, but to be honest, I probably wouldn't, like, if I went again, just because it just didn't come up, and I'm sure there are games where it would, but I don't feel like there's enough. Maybe I'm wrong, and, I'd be interested in hearing why, because I kind of put it in there because it was everyone plays that. Now I'm like, I don't really see it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not the worst, but I don't think, I'd have probably just run the second Hexablown one instead. I think that would have come up more. And then for Tamers, we had 2 Davis. I mean, what can I say? It's pretty crazy that a BT3 Tamer is still...
It's crazy.
Best in slot. I mean, I can't lie. I've played since BT5, BT6, and I still forget that it searches blue and green. There are times where I'm like, that's crazy. I can't believe this searches 2 cards.
Yeah, it's insane.
You very rarely want to play it out, but some games you just have to. And I mean, being set to 3 isn't the worst. Then you've got the obvious answer of 4 Davis and Ken. This is the card I think should have been hit on the ban list, and I still think that.
I still think it too.
The amount of games where I would just sit there across from my opponent, looking at my 2 Davis and Ken on the field, and look at my rookie in the back going, why would I ever promote you when this card is letting me play out both rookies I need to search more cards and to DNA in the same turn? This rookie can just sit there until I'm confident I'm going for game, or until I think I need the extra body for anything. Yeah,
and the worst part about this card is that, like, when you have 1 on the field, I think it's okay, but as soon as you have like 2 or more on the field, the game just like is over, I feel.
Obviously there's ways to out it, blah blah, but for the most part, if I ever got 2 of these out, And except for the rare occasions where I did just brick on no rookies or something, again, was rare because of my quite high rookie count. Like, if I had the rookies and 2 of these out, I just felt like I was in such a winning position pretty much no matter what my opponent did.
Yeah.
Other than being locked out from playing guys out. Like against Red, Purple, Imperial when they went into fighter mode. And I sat there with my 2 Davis and Ken and went, oh, that is something that happened. And then just for options, I mean, 1 Hammer Spark, which did come up a lot, to be honest. To be honest, it mostly came up in the Mirage matchup where you draw a million cards, and obviously it's a bad matchup anyway. So there were games where I'd literally just play Hammer Spark purely to like gain the memory. To lower my hand count. I didn't actually care about the memory. It's just my opponent hadn't actually played the Imperial Mirage matchup and didn't realize what was such a bad thing for me. I actually played them twice. I played them, I think, round 3 and
top 16.
And also top 16. And I remember our game 1 top 16, I actually scooped like turn 3 because they had out 2 Mirage stacks. And I looked at my hand and looked at my 2 Davis and Ken and went, I literally actually can't play a card because as soon as I play a card, I'll put them back to turn.
Yeah.
There was literally no way for me to, and even when I scooped, they were like, oh, why'd you scoop? I don't like, and unironically, I think they just didn't know the matchup. And I was just like, there's literally nothing to be done there. I can see why Mirage is such a rough matchup, but no, honestly, Hammer Spark lowering my hand count did come up and it sounds ridiculous. Another one that came up, Hidden Potential Discovered. I actually played Hidden Potential Discovered and didn't evo with it 1 turn because I didn't have an evolution, but I just needed to lower my hand count.
That's crazy.
Because I knew what he had and had worked out. I think it was he could make me draw 3 cards in the turn, like realistically. So I had to lower it to an amount to make it so he'd gain 1 less memory, just in the hopes that he wouldn't go for the OTK or the board setup. And it seems like, don't get me wrong, Hidden Potential Discovered is a broken card in general. It came up a lot for other reasons, like being able to just suspend a rookie and then evo like Imperialdramon into Dragon mode, suspend that and get another swing was always big. But yeah, I mean, again, I can see why it's at 1. And the last 2 cards were just 2 Return to the Primogenitor.
Broken?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's really weird. The security effect is really good, but it feels like absolutely nothing to me because every time I hit it, I never had I think there was only 1 game where I actually had a Davis in my hand or Davis and Ken in my hand or trash.
Yeah.
But even the delay effect is just so good. Like the fact that it's anything other than your effects, like you can there was a game where I think I swung Pale with security with jamming and then unsuspended. Then this was the blue-green Imperial Mirror, and then swung my Pale into theirs, prevented my deletion, and went into Dragon mode just to set up a board where they couldn't do anything because I then went into fighter mode.
Yeah.
Just to get the free evo off it, and just the fact that you can like go, oh yeah, I'm just gonna swing, die, and get a free evo.
Broken.
Yeah, that's the list. I mean, I think it's quite a standard Imperial list. It worked pretty well for me. There are things I'd change, but.
What would you change in the deck?
First thing, definitely the BT16 XV. Just didn't come up. I think I said before I'd change it for the EX1 XV. I think jamming's just so much more impactful, and I don't know, this just never came up.
Anything else?
Obviously the Stingmon is now hit, so it goes to 1. I think you just swap it for the BT12 Stingmon, the gain memory on DNA, to be honest. I think I should have run at least 1 of that anyway, which is where I would probably have swapped out one of the Lydramons for that BT12 Sting. I played again against the Mirror, like the amount of games where turns where I'd watch him have both and see him gain free memory from them, the Sting, the XV, and the Davis and Ken. I was like, damn, that's kind of nice. I still think the draw Sting's better, but now that you can't play that, you just play 4 of that and then the 1 of the draw Sting. I think 2 Lydramon's still fine, because I mean, when Digivolving does on occasion come up, and I mean, Armor Purge is nice for when you absolutely can't go into Pale or anything, but it's also just nice because it turns on your Promo Vmon and your Demi Vmon.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get a draw 2, which could draw you into it, and then even if it does die, you're not locked out the game because you just evo on top. So they're the main changes. After that, it's just basically wait until Bandai prints a better rookie, because I think the Worm's fine, but it is frustrating when you see it and then you're like, why couldn't I have seen BT12 Searcher?
Yeah, I hear you. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or closing thoughts, shout outs or anything?
Shout out to VortexTCG, who asked me to go to the event and dragged me along.
This guy was kicking and screaming that he was not going to do well at the event, and here he is, top 8, invite. You got your invite notification, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, come on, my guy. Anything else you'd like to say?
Please comment what deck I should take to finals, because I haven't got a clue.
Let them know in the comment section down below, guys. Thank you all for watching this deck profile, and I'll see you all in the next video.